water shortages on Colorado River could eventually hit California. In another sign of trouble for California's scarce water supplies, Arizona's top water officials said the worsening depletion of the Colorado River's reservoirs will require serious action to combat the effects of a 22-year megadrought that shows no sign of letting up. Federal projections show Lake Mead and Lake Powell, the country's two largest reservoirs, will keep on declining in the coming months, reaching a shortage level likely to trigger larger water cuts in 2023 for Arizona, Nevada, and Mexico, and which could also eventually force similar reductions in California. The gravity of the immediate situation is serious, said Tom Buschatzke, director of the Arizona Department of Water Resources. We expect further significant actions to reduce water use will be required. The Colorado River supplies water to nearly 40 million people, flowing to cities, farmlands, and tribal nations from the Rocky Mountains to Southern California. The river has for decades been chronically overused. So much water is diverted that the river's delta in Mexico largely dried up decades ago, leaving only scattered natural wetlands in an otherwise dry river channel that runs through farmland. State and federal officials spoke at a meeting in Phoenix on Friday, 3 days after the Federal Bureau of Reclamation announced plans to reduce the amount of water released from Lake Powell this year to reduce risks of the reservoir's water level falling too low at Glen Canyon Dam. Last year, the dam generated enough power to meet the needs of more than 300,000 homes, something it would not be able to do if the water levels plummet so badly that it can no longer generate electricity. Buschatzke added that more needs to be done to protect water levels in Lake Mead, which releases water that flows to Arizona, Nevada, California, and Mexico. Lake Powell, which straddles the Arizona-Utah state line, has declined to just 24% of full capacity, the lowest point since it was filled in the 1960s following the construction of Glen Canyon Dam. The water that is released from Lake Powell flows through the Grand Canyon and reaches Lake Mead near Las Vegas. Lake Mead has dropped to 30% of full capacity, its lowest level since it was filled in the 1930s during the Great Depression. The latest projections, Buschatzke said, show the reduced releases of water from Lake Powell will result in a roughly 22-foot drop in Lake Mead's level. It's about maintaining flows in the Colorado River, including through the Grand Canyon, Buschatzke said. Because if the flows were to be severely restricted, the declines in Lake Mead would accelerate.